Hello everybody, this is Kirusha here. Now then, when we last left off, Deku and everyone else had just found that the beast is Katsuki Bakugo. And they are now visibly upset with Bakugo. But All Might would have turned their focus back to their opponent, knowing that this Bakugo's basically been through a lot of hell. Now then, as the beast reached his max size, he would just bring his hands up and just begin stretching, saying that if they can kill him, then he believes that they will be ready. And he will trust. He trusts that the future will be in good hands. As he immediately just begins by sweeping his hands around, trying to blast them all away. Explosions are being set off, and a lot of people are dodging and weaving. Now, Deku, he is immediately just thinking that this is insane. All Might would immediately rush in, going to throw a punch. He throws a left hook at 100%. Immediately, this just makes the beast. It hits the beast, and it would send the beast stumbling backwards a couple steps before he immediately just smashes All Might into the ground. Now, as that happened, Uraka is trying to use super telekinesis, because he knows that the buildings around are actually still abandoned. So, she just takes she takes a giant building and she immediately just smashes it into the beast, somewhat knocking him over. Deku would see this and he would just think that if he can find a way to use multiple different things together, he might actually be able to help take this thing down. So, he immediately begins using pyrokinesis, and he actually tries using telekinesis at the same time. As he does so, he comes up into the air, and he immediately lights on fire. As he immediately just grabs the other side of the other building, throwing it straight into the beast, as it lights on fire. Now, Deku actually switches over to cryokinesis, and immediately just freezes the building over. He somewhat freezes the bottom half of the beast's legs, as Todoroki would see this. He would immediately just go to try and do his ice wall, if not his ice wave. He would do so, and the beast would immediately just snap through it, breaking through it, actually going to kick him. As soon as that happened, Bakugo actually rushed in and actually threw a left hook, blasting the beast's leg backwards. He would have asked Todoroki if he was okay, and Todoroki would just reluctantly just say that he's fine. I'm pretty sure we're all gonna need to sit down after this and figure this all out. Todoroki would just say that, Kirishima, as whenever I give the word, I need you to try and do as much damage as you can. Kirishima would just say, got it, as Toru immediately just begins running off. She actually begins running up the side of a building as she is blasting as much as she can at the beast. And as soon as she gets to the top of it, she immediately tries doing that ultimate move, where she lifts everything up into the air and is firing at it. Except this time, she is basically in front of the beast as she is firing over and over and over again. While that is going on, Kendo is basically just chucking as much power and force as she can at the beast, going for its face, its neck, and trying to basically get it to pay attention to her while the others attack. She would have actually tried coming down with her giant hands and smack into the beast, but that would just annoy him and actually hurt herself. Now, Jiro is actually just blasting as much sound, trying to help them keep its legs back. This is whenever Deku, he just is blasting as much smoke into the beast as possible, and he's just thinking that if he can absorb its power, then he could basically help take it down. If not, take it down. Now then, he immediately just begins running at the beast, and this is whenever Kirishima, he would get the word from Todoroki to actually do it. As Kirishima immediately just moves by bringing both of his hands upwards, two ginormous spikes come out of the ground, throwing themselves through the beast's body, puncturing through his legs, but they do not work. The beast quite simply just rips them out and regenerates, as he actually would throw them directly at Kirishima. This is when Toru, she would actually just run from where she's at, tackling him to the ground, saving his life. She'd tell him that he needs to worry about doing that, as he would tackle her to the ground because he just threw another one. He would just say that they're even as they both get back up and get back into the fight. Deku, he would have gotten up close and personal with the beast, as he's known from his face, and he immediately just lets off as much power as he can. He throws as much cement and as much ice into his face as possible, along with the fact that now he's trying to use glass and paper. He is actually trying to go all out, as he is using two sides. He actually mixes neon and music together. As he is doing so, he just creates ginormous sound waves and is actually boosting both sides of these things. As he does so, he actually wants to try and mix. He basically also tries using Boulder at the same time. As you basically see Deku, most of his body is covered in neon, but only his right arm is covered in rocks. As he just begins shooting them off, and he's actually just firing and firing and firing. This is whenever the beast would just say that they are not going to win, even with All Might here. Bakugo and All Might just look at each other as they know what they need to do. Bakugo would immediately just blitz over to All Might, and he would just say that they need to go beyond, don't they? All Might would just say that they do, but he's not really sure how much that will work. As these two immediately just blitz the thing and immediately just begin the 1,000,000% double Delaware smash. Now, as soon as that happens, they would both hit the beast, as this sends him flying through an entire city block. As they get to the area, they now have to worry about one thing: civilians. This is whenever Deku, he is trying to get as much people to safety as possible. He's actually running in and doing so, telling people that they need to get out of here and to tell everyone to leave the area. As he immediately just thinks that, okay, how do we deal with this? I got it. As he just yells to everyone to evacuate the entire city. If not, tell the authorities to get everyone out. What he's going to do might destroy this place. As they are talking about this, the beast would have turned his head and immediately gone to grab Deku. But as soon as Deku saw this, he immediately turns into smoke, dispersing around the beast's hand, as he reforms on top of it and he's actually running. He can feel the bottom of his shoes melting as he gets up close and personal, actually blasting off a smoke bomb directly in its face. The beast actually recoiled and can't really see very well, but after a second his eyesight would return. As it's not looking around for Deku, as it constantly has to break free of the ice, the mental restraint, and the fact that everything is pissing him off. Now, we will cut to Deku. Deku is as high up into the air as he can possibly get. He is going higher and higher and higher. As he is bringing as much concrete into the air as he can possibly bring. As soon as that happens, let's say he's about as high as he can possibly get. He starts feeling like he's choking on nothing, and this is at the point where things are starting to lose friction. If not, things are starting to get a little dizzy. Deku immediately reforms them, as he just begins by absorbing as much concrete as possible along with the air around him. As soon as he does that, he forms up giant armor, as he just begins falling. Now, he actually absorbs it as much as he can and finds that this is going to be the absolute limit. He starts multitasking. He starts by moving all the air in front of him, increasing his speed as he's dropping faster. As that happens, he immediately just turns all of his body into concrete, and he just begins by bringing his arm back as he just shouts for the beast. And this is whenever the beast would look up, and Deku just smashes him into the ground. There is a giant explosion going off as the entire area just blows up into a giant thing of concrete. Now then, afterwards, the beast is heavily injured as that actually took off one of its arms and part of its face. The beast is now getting more angry as they are actually showing that they have been very, very well coordinated. Deku, he would just say that they need to attack now as he reforms from the concrete and he is immediately just fighting with as much power as he can. As he's throwing around concrete, he's throwing around glass. He's trying to shock this thing. He's trying to use paper and neon. Now then, he immediately just switches back over to music, neon, and he is trying to actually make some paper, as he just needs the speed. He would finally do so as he takes off, leaving musical notes. He's actually running, and he is immediately met with the fact that if he can use the boulder armor in his new little form, he might have a chance. As he immediately just starts creating the boulder armor, it's popping up on pieces and glimpses in his arms, his hands, and as much of his body as he can, as he immediately just tries getting momentum. He does so, and let's say Kendo actually saw this, as she would have immediately just started sucking up all the air in front of Deku. Deku's running and he's just trying to... He's telling her that she needs to at least try and keep up. She would turn her body to the molecular structure of air, and she's taking up as much of it as possible. Now, Deku is immediately charging in, and as he's doing this, Kirishima just hears the stomping Deku's making, as he actually just brings his hands down to the ground, creating a giant ramp. Deku immediately just runs onto it as he comes in and actually sucker punches the beast so hard, he actually knocks it to the ground. As Todoroki, Kirishima, and Kendo, they all just start letting loose. Uraka is trying with as much power as she can to keep it onto the ground, but this is actually starting to strain her. Deku actually comes up in the air next to her as he just begins by slamming his hands down over and over and over again, as the beast is barely able to stand. Kirishima has actually been able to lay more concrete into it and actually basically try and restrain it, while Todoroki is using his ice to actually just lay into it even further and keep it stuck to the ground. Now then, eventually the beast would say that they are actually beating him. This is amazing. He can't believe it. Whenever this happened last time, they couldn't even touch him. It's insane. As he immediately just lets off a giant burst. As soon as he lets off this burst, everyone's abilities just begin acting up. As they all try and hold on to them, they find that their abilities are now somewhat freaking out. As Shinjo's pyrokinesis is now going up to the point where his power is turning blue, Todoroki's ice is turning a darker blue, and Toru's neon is actually beginning to shift to every color that it can basically find. Kirishima's body is immediately just turning to rock and undoing so, as Kendo is immediately just dispersing her giant wave of air and reforming, trying to pull herself together. They are all doing this as Deku, he is immediately just being pulled in every single direction. His body is turning to glass, shattering, turning into a lightning bolt, and hitting the conductors, as he just falls out and turns into a pile of paper, air, or smoke. As all this is happening, Deku is basically having an entire entire shit show. As whenever he does get a hold of his abilities again, he immediately just focuses as much power toward the beast. As he creates a ginormous boulder, throwing it up into the air. As soon as he does so, he actually slams it down on the beast as he just brings his hands out, and his eyes are glowing with the music power. As soon as he does that, all you hear is the ginormous boost, well, the sound of the bass boosted, as the buildings begin moving. Deku immediately just slams the buildings into the beast as he just keeps doing so over and over. As people are watching, Deku's eyes are just glowing with white electricity as him and the beast are now fighting nearly on par. The beast's boost is wearing off very rapidly now. As he is now shrinking in size, Deku is actually able to fight with him and actually take him down. This is whenever Uraka and Kirishima, along with everyone else, would basically come over and use their abilities to make sure he stays down. Now then, after that very heated fight, this is whenever All Might would announce to everyone that they have done a very good job. Not only have these young heroes helped me take down one of my greatest enemies, they have also helped me take down the Beast, the most wanted man in Japan at the time. So, let us begin. I would like to congratulate these, not children, these people, these heroes, for helping me. So, everyone, please give it up for the second son. And, as you have Shinsho just saying, the Human Torch, Todoroki would just call himself, I'm not sure their hero names, but Kirishima would call himself the Human Rock, or the Thing. Toru would call herself Neon Demon, I feel. Uraka would call herself probably... She'd probably still go with Uravity, but she'd call herself Miss Gravity. And Jiro, I don't remember what her hero name is, but she'd probably go for... not Sketch. Some kind of... I want to say she'd probably go for like a very obscure music reference people would not get. Because I feel like that's what she would actually do. But, now then, let us cut to back in UA. After taking down the beast, everyone who is a conduit is actually praised and admired by a lot of the other classes. Along with the fact that you also have people in Class 1B actually talking about what has been going on. You have Monoma actually questing Mei about a lot of her tech and abilities, as he would try copying her conduit and he would actually be very bummed out. You better, you little fucker, because I hate you. Sorry, that slipped out. I'm keeping it in. Anyways, afterwards the big three would come in and they would be really, really excited to fight them. As they would say that they... Ow. Ow, that actually hurt. Oh, okay. They would actually be told that they saw the entire fight and it got them really pumped. But them going against the beast, that was amazing! As Mary would just say that he wants to fight them all right now, and yeah, I think you guys know how that fight would go. With the fact that Kendo can turn herself to air, basically phasing through any object or anything that's not a solid wall, she would have... I want to say Kendo alone could probably take down Mirio, because she can turn her entire hand into a ginormous fist, and that's basically covering Mirio's entire body mass. If not his entire upper body with his hands outstretched. So her alone could probably take down Mirio. But you got Toru and Jiro who would probably work together to take down Hmm. Crap. The girl in the big three. Um. Crap. What is her name? I know her quirk. Spiral. But you also have Tamaki, who Deku would be able to take down very easily just by using smoke. Or he'd probably use fire and ice. Actually, knowing him, he would probably use. Since Tamaki is shy, he would probably use mirrors against him. But he'd also probably use electricity. Because he does still carry an electrical. Well, he's still human, so being shocked by electricity would probably hurt him a lot. So that would be how the big three fight goes. And Miria would just be surprised, saying that they are all crazy strong. But he shouldn't be surprised. Anyways, as he would just put his hand up, saying that he will enjoy their rematch soon. Besides, along with the fact that Bakugo, he basically has his own thing going on, people are somewhat hesitant to talk to with him. Now, the the provisional license exam would go very different with the fact that Bakugo, he no longer needs that prosthetic because he just keeps his hand covered in black web. Actually saying that this is actually pretty weird. It feels just like the real thing. It's impressive. As Deku would just say he hopes so. Anyways, man. I know all this is somewhat weird. It's been weird for all of us. Well, I wouldn't be a superhero if I didn't have a fucked up backstory, right? Fucked up backstory? You guys put me in a simulation when I was 7. And I had an evil clone from the I had an evil doppelganger from the future. Touche. As they just begin bursting up laughing in the bus. Everyone would actually talk with Bakugo, asking exactly, how is that possible, though? As All Might would just say that they shouldn't worry about that. That's all in the past now, but if it does come up again, then that's whenever they should worry about it. As people know Deku as the second, as did I say second son? I want to say he'd at least call himself Infamous or the Conduit. Yeah, let's say he calls himself the Conduit. I don't know if I called him second son earlier. I think I did. That is my mistake. Now, after that, they would basically all be in the combat thing as people want to attack the conduits, and they actually want to fight them to see how strong they are. They'd be doing all that. The guy who has the air quirk wouldn't be as angry at Endeavor, because let's say that event still did happen, but this was after the bombs. And instead of Endeavor being he knocks it away out of anger or anything like that, he actually just accidentally nudged the kid and knocked him down. But he did actually extend a hand to help him up and apologize, along with signing it and actually getting a picture with him. So he would basically work better with Todoroki. That's what I just said. Todoroki, and they would actually take down Gang Orca along with Bakugo's help. And the rescue portion, the League of Villains, they weren't really there. Speaking of which, someone informed me that I said Dobby when I was going over the Black Force training arc. I did not mean Dobby. I don't know. It has been. Bleh. My mind's been all over the place today, and it has not been fun. So, I did not mean Dobby. I'm sorry if that confused people. But, thank you to the person who corrected me. I would rather have to do this than basically work around or basically confuse people. So, thank you to that person. Anyway, guys, I do hope you enjoyed the video and have an amazing day. This has been the end of the series. This one was a really fun what if to basically think about and try and plan out. And as soon as I learned about the beast for the what if, I was thinking about who it would be or how should it go. Now, since it is said that the beast quirk is actually super pyrokinesis, I was thinking about having it be Shinsho, but that would just be too obvious to anyone who plays the games. So I made it Bakugo. That is actually the reason for his whole little thing. But another thing, that Bakugo from the future did not have One for All before anyone asked. Deku got One for All because of how the timeline happened since Conduits awakened later. Basically, Conduits awakened probably around Deku being 14 to 15, 10 months before the anime, and that is whenever Bakugo awakened his strange abilities, along with Deku having a quirk, getting it from All Might. As All Might would have trained him more intensely, and after becoming a pro later on in life, everyone would be brutally executed by the monster to come. Now then, I do hope you guys enjoyed the video and enjoyed this what if, and this has been my 1K special. Anyways, I do hope you guys enjoyed the video.